So you've probably noticed this. You look at the side of your laptop, the back of your desktop PC, that power bank you just bought, and you see a row of USB ports. But they're not all the same. Some are black, some are blue, maybe you've even seen a red or a yellow one. And you have to wonder, right? Is this just for looks? It's a fair question. The answer is more practical. These colors aren't random, they're a code. A visual guide that tells you what a port can do. Think of it like a secret language for your tech. Instead of reading tiny labels or spec sheets, the colors give you an at-a-glance hint. It's all about speed and power. Each color usually matches a USB generation, and each generation brings upgrades. Faster data transfers more charging power, sometimes special features. Alright, let's start at the beginning. The original gangsters of the USB world, the white and black ports. If you've been around computers for a while, these are the ones you'll recognize instantly. The white port is the true classic, representing USB 1.0 and 1.1. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s tech. These ports were revolutionary, introducing the idea of a universal connector, keyboards, mice, printers. Speed wasn't the main selling point back then, it was convenience. Getting rid of all those clunky, confusing ports. It was the universal part of the universal serial bus that mattered most. Then came the black port, the most common one you'll still see today. The black color signifies USB 2.0. This was a massive leap forward from USB 1.1. The official name for it was high-speed USB. It offered a theoretical maximum speed of 480 megabits per second. That's a huge jump from the 12 megabits per second of USB 1.1. This upgrade is what made external hard drives practical for the average person. It also made high-resolution webcams practical. The black USB 2.0 port became the default standard on pretty much every computer, charger, and peripheral for over a decade. This is where things start to get fast. When you see that bright blue color inside a USB port, that's your signal that you've entered the modern era of data transfer. That blue color typically represents USB 3.0, which was later rebranded as USB 3.1 Gen 1, and now it's officially called USB 3.2 Gen 1. Yeah, the naming is a mess, but the color is what matters for a quick ID. This standard is also known by its marketing name, SuperSpeed USB, and it lives up to the name. It was a game changer when it first arrived. So, what kind of speed are we talking about? USB 3.0 offers a theoretical maximum transfer speed of 5 gigabits per second. That's more than 10 times faster than the 480 megabits per second of USB 2.0. That's a massive leap. This is the difference between waiting half an hour for a movie to transfer to your flash drive and having it done in under a minute. This is the speed you need for modern high-performance peripherals. It's what makes external SSDs feel almost as fast as your internal drive and allows for smooth, uncompressed video from a high-quality capture card. Besides speed, the blue USB 3.0 port also brought a power upgrade. While a standard USB 2.0 port delivers about 2.5 watts of power, a USB 3.0 port can provide up to 4.5 watts. That's 5 volts at 0.9 amps. This means it can charge your smartphone or other devices a bit faster than the older black ports. So, if you have a choice, the blue port is almost always the one you want to use for data-heavy tasks. Just when you got used to looking for that standard blue port, manufacturers introduced another shade, teal, or sometimes it's a slightly different, lighter shade of blue. This teal color is your visual cue for the next step up in performance. Usually called USB 3.1 Gen 2, now officially USB 3.2 Gen 2. See? I told you the naming scheme was a mess. But just remember this. Teal means even faster. It represents the second generation of SuperSpeed Plus, pushing the performance envelope even further than the standard blue ports we just talked about. How much faster is it? If the jump from black to blue was a leap, the jump from blue to teal is another significant one. A standard blue USB 3.2 Gen 1 port maxes out at 5 gigabits per second. The teal USB 3.2 Gen 2 port doubles that, hitting a theoretical maximum speed of 10 gigabits per second. This is incredibly fast and is perfect for the most demanding professional-grade workflows. Think video editors working with massive 8K video files or creative professionals who need to transfer huge project libraries between their workstation and an external NVMe SSD. With a 10 gigabits per second connection, those transfers happen in a flash. The presence of a teal port is often a sign that you're using a higher-end device like a premium laptop, a gaming PC, or a content creator-focused motherboard. Manufacturers don't usually put these on entry-level machines because the average user might not have peripherals that can even take advantage of that 10 gigabits per second speed. But for those who do, it's essential. It's the port you reserve for your fastest external storage. Now we get to the really interesting colors. When you see a red USB port, it's a sign that you're dealing with something special. Unlike the clear progression from black, blue, teal, red can mean a couple of different things, but they all point to high performance. In many cases, a red port signifies the absolute top tier of USB-A speed on consumer hardware, USB 3.2 Gen 2 x 220 gigabits per second. That's achieved by using 2 lanes each at 10 gigabits per second, hence 2 by 2. That 20 Gbps speed is phenomenal but mostly found in USB-C right now. Some motherboard and PC case manufacturers use red on their USB-A ports to indicate the fastest port. Even if it's only a 10 gigabits per second port, the same as teal. They use red as a marketing tool. Hey, plug your fastest stuff in here. So, while not perfectly consistent, red almost always means at least 10 gigabits per second. But red can also mean high power charging. Manufacturers use red to denote higher amperage for faster charging. Often the port stays powered while the computer is off or in sleep mode. Sleep and charge. Great for charging your phone, tablet, or power bank overnight. Because red can mean speed, power, or both, look for a small label next to the port. A little lightning bolt symbol usually indicates charging capabilities. An SS 10 inches logo indicates super speed 10 gigabits per second. An SS 20 inches logo indicates super speed 20 gigabits per second. Regardless, the rule is simple. If you see a red port, it's a good one. It's designed for your most demanding devices, whether they're hungry for data or hungry for power. Alright, so we've covered black, blue, teal, and red. But what about yellow? You might see a yellow USB port on some laptops, particularly from brands like Lenovo or on some desktop PCs. It's less common than the others, but it has a very specific and useful function. Unlike the other colors that are primarily about data transfer speeds, yellow is almost exclusively about power. A yellow USB port is very similar to the sleep and charge feature we saw with some red ports. Its main purpose is to be an always-on charging port. This means the yellow port will continue to provide power to a connected device even when the computer is completely shut down, as long as the laptop has battery life or the desktop is plugged into the wall. Think about how you use your devices. Maybe you get back to your hotel room and need to charge your phone, but you don't want to leave your laptop open and running all night. You can just shut it down, plug your phone into the yellow port, and it will charge up just like it would from a wall adapter. So, with all these colors and speeds, how do you decide what to plug in where? Let's break it down with some real-world examples. Think of it as a quick cheat sheet. For your basic low-bandwidth peripherals, the black USB 2.0 ports are your go-to. Keyboard, mouse, printer, USB audio adapter. These devices send tiny amounts of data. Using a faster port is a waste of potential. Save the high-speed lanes for the high-speed traffic. When you need to move data, that's when you look for the color, flash drive, external hard drive. Plug it into a blue USB 3.0, 5 gigabits per second. This is the sweet spot for most consumer-level data transfer. If you're using a high-resolution 1080p or 4K webcam, the blue port is the minimum you should use. Now let's talk about the heavy hitters. Creative professional, gamer, tech enthusiast, reserve teal, which is 10 gigabits per second, and red, which is 10 plus gigabits per second ports. External NVMe SSD enclosure for video editing directly off the drive. High-end game capture card to stream 4K gameplay flawlessly. Any task needing the absolute maximum speed to avoid bottlenecks, that's a job for teal or red. Think of these as the express lanes reserved for supercars. Finally, we have charging. If your laptop is on and you just need to top up your phone, any port will technically work, but a blue or red one might be slightly faster than a black one. However, if you need to charge a device while your computer is off or asleep, that's when you hunt for that special yellow or red, always on or sleep and charge port. While color coding is an incredibly helpful visual shortcut, it's important to remember that it's just one piece of the puzzle. These colors are industry conventions, not unbreakable laws. A high-end laptop maker might make all ports black for a sleek, uniform look, even if those ports are 10 gigabits per second capable. USB-C is a whole different ballgame. USB-C ports usually don't use color coding, so you have to rely on symbols or specs. To be absolutely sure what a port can do, look for the small symbols printed next to it. A simple USB Trident logo usually means USB 2.0. A trident with an SS for super speed next to it means USB 3. X SS 10 inches means 10 gigabits per second. SS 20 inches means 20 gigabits per second. You might also see a lightning bolt symbol. It can mean Thunderbolt, compatible with USB-C and up to 40 gigabits per second. Or a lightning bolt can indicate a high-power charging port. These little icons are the definitive guide when color is absent or ambiguous. Another thing to check is the cable and the device you're plugging in. You can have the fastest port in the world, but it won't matter if you're using an old USB 2.0 cable or a slow flash drive. To get USB 3.0 speeds, you need a USB 3.0 port, a USB 3.0 cable. They usually have blue connectors, and a USB 3.0 device. All three parts of the chain have to support the higher speed. If any one of them is an older standard, your performance will be bottlenecked to that slowest component. It's a classic case of a chain being only as strong as its weakest link. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? It might seem like a lot of detail for something as simple as a port you plug things into. But understanding what these colors mean is about more than just trivia. It's about efficiency and getting the performance you paid for. You bought that blazing fast external SSD for a reason, right? If you plug it into a black USB 2.0 port, you're essentially putting a governor on a sports car. You're leaving a massive amount of performance on the table. That translates into wasted time, waiting for files to transfer. Knowing the difference between a blue port, knowing the difference between a yellow port, it's the difference between your phone barely charging overnight and waking up to a full battery because you use the always-on port. It's the difference between a choppy, pixelated video call and a smooth, professional-looking stream using a high-speed blue port. These small choices add up to a much better, more seamless experience. It's about making your tech work for you, not the other way around. This knowledge empowers you as a consumer. When you're shopping for a new laptop, when you're shopping for a new motherboard, you can see at a glance if it has the high-speed connectivity you need. A laptop with only black USB ports tells a different story than one with a healthy mix of blue, teal, red. It helps you make a more informed purchasing decision and future-proof your setup. Ultimately, technology should be intuitive. The USB color coding system is a simple design choice that makes a complex standard easier to understand. It's a visual language that communicates speed and function without reading a manual. So the next time you go to plug something in, take that extra half second to look at the color. That tiny detail can make a big difference in your day. It's one of the easiest ways to level up your tech game and get the most out of every single port.